Welcome into the bunker. Today I just wanted to go over a few things, just some charts that I've been looking at. And, what did I say the other day? I said, it's a good time, none of this is financial advice, but good time to potentially average in here. And we're just looking at this on the weekly. And, what I would say is that we are making higher lows here. And so that's good. If we're looking at Ethereum. And it looks like this is getting picked up. So, hopefully some of you guys caught the low on this. But I just wanted to play something real quick. Because I think it's important. Favorable regulations here for crypto, and then we can talk a little bit more about the charts. So just listen to this, and then we can get back into it.
The red carpet being rolled out in the United Kingdom at the moment to cryptocurrencies, to innovation of that sort. Why?
Well, I think we've got to accept that this is going to be a great opportunity. We've got to regulate to innovate those. So we've gripped it in the UK. I made a speech last Monday and I announced a number of interventions. We want to bring industry together with our regulator, with government, so we can work out the best steps to take this interesting phenomena forward, because it has many applications, both for financial services and to the wider economy. And so I'm excited about that, and I'm pleased that we're able to get that engagement with industry, both here and in London, in order to drive it forward. Let's
talk about here in New York and the meetings you're having with SEC, Federal Reserve. This has got to be a cross-Atlantic regulation, because this is a global asset class.
Well, every jurisdiction will have a slightly different take on it, but I was here in the autumn, and I'm back here now, as you say, in Washington this week as well, talking to regulators, talking to government, but talking to industry as well, to ensure that we meet expectations, that we think creatively about what we need to do to get this into the right place, so that consumers have certainty, that any risks are dealt with and faced up to, and we can actually come to terms with some of the challenges in terms of how do we tax, or do we tax, in what way, and how do we create a regulatory framework that is reliable and gives innovators some assurance about the future.
What do you make of talent? And in particular, I think of, the Bank of England have been worrying about the scams that are involved within the crypto space. Andrew Bailey speaking out about that, the head of the Bank of England. Meanwhile, I think it was the Bank of England's fintech hub leaving to a crypto job. Are you seeing more jobs being grown there? How do you see this sort of tension between institutional finance moving into the world of that?
Well, in the UK, we've been a global hub of fintech, and we've seen that to be very resilient. And I see in cryptocurrency and exchanges that are developing in the UK a great opportunity. Yes, it's right that we've got to get the right regulatory framework in place, and Andrew Bailey's been very clear on that. We've got to come to terms with a promotions regime that protects consumers, but we've also got to embrace the opportunities of new technologies and new phenomena and how it will apply to markets.
We think the market has changed sufficiently for us to look at regulating a broader set of crypto activities, including trading of tokens like Bitcoin. And we will consult on a world-leading regime for the rest of the crypto market too. A regime that will facilitate safe and sustainable, and I hope rapid, innovation. We'll also be engaging with you all closely on changes we want to make to the tax system. On balance, we don't think the tax code will need major surgery to make it work more easily for crypto. But we're going to look at and resolve specific issues like the treatment of DeFi loans and staking. We will be amending the investment manager exemption to remove disincentives to UK fund managers, including disincentives to UK fund managers including crypto assets in their portfolios. Above all, we want to position the UK as pro-innovation jurisdiction, which is attractive to inward investment and to firms who don't yet have a settled base. The second thing we have going for us is that we are determined to learn quickly. The UK already has a strong track record of facilitating experimentation through the FCA's regulatory sandbox, which has supported more than 50 firms using blockchain. The FCA have announced today that they will be organising the first of a series of crypto sprints next month, involving scores of industry experts. And the sprints will inform FCA policy thinking in real time, and participants will be tasked with wrangling some of the legal, technical, and regulatory challenges the industry faces, and then coming up with practical solutions, which we, the government, will take forward as quickly as we can. We will also deliver the financial market infrastructure sandbox, which the Chancellor announced last year, and on which we are making very good progress. The sandbox, to be run by the Bank of England and the FCA, will allow firms to experiment and innovate in providing the services that underpin markets. In particular, this will enable them to test new technologies that could transform financial markets by delivering greater efficiency, improved liquidity, enhanced transparency, and greater security. We intend to have this up and running next year, and if it teaches us that we need to update the relevant legislation, then we...
Okay, so that was the UK economic advisor to the Treasury talking very bullish about crypto. So it's interesting for sure. I think it's something to watch, and just wanted to share that with you guys. Also wanted to get into some of the charts here. So if we're looking at Polygon, for example, on the weekly, we are seeing the potential here of a reversal candle. So these are pretty rare to get. So if we could close around these levels, it would actually, look really good here in terms of a potential reversal. We are sort of getting as well that rounded bottom that we like to see. If you look at it on the daily, it doesn't look as good. It's a little bit flat, I guess I would say. Since it's not really making necessarily higher lows, but it is coming down. I mean, so you can look at this like two ways. You could look at it as like, okay, we're hitting support too many times here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just hitting our head here on the bottom too many times, and so bam, we could go down to like $1. But like I said, none of this financial advice, but I would say it's a good time to look at like averaging in on some of these coins, and Matic is one of my favorites. Maybe 25% of your stack to start putting into some of these. Again, not financial advice. I already have a position in ETH as my big position. I'm also looking at Polkadot. And again, sort of flat, but we are making a higher low. And on the weekly, this candle to me looked like a bottom, and this looks like a higher low. So just something to think about. I think that I've been really bearish, and some of you have seen that, obviously. But I don't want to be one of those people who is bearish at the bottom when we are coming into a possible time of innovation into the future, and maybe positive regulation on some of these coins. So I want to keep an open mind in that sense. I also am looking at Chainlink because I just think that these have been beaten up so much, especially Link, really been beaten up here. as you can see, where we really went lower than even these July lows, which is pretty crazy. And like, yeah, could it go lower? Yeah, doesn't look great. But again, Link connects pretty much everything that happened in crypto. And I think, if some of these countries really do want to be innovative with their central bank digital currency, they're going to need Chainlink to connect their data, all the data that they want to keep on people. That's one of their main reasons, I think, for doing crypto, is to spy on people and have everyone's payment information. But I think that the way that they're going to get into it here might actually be by promoting crypto and not banning it, because if they ban it, everyone's going to revolt and no one's really going to want to use the coin that they come out with. But if they promote it and say, hey, we're using this technology, people will probably accept it, especially the people who are, long crypto or have it in their portfolio, which is more and more people every day now. So we sort of know that these countries are going to be using CBDCs. A lot of people have said, that it's going to be all bad, essentially. But, I think that there's a potential here for it to actually be positive. And so, again, I just look at some of these and I say, okay, they've been beat up enough. And, I think another one I also looked at today, and again, I suggest just kind of easing into this, because we are still in a, quad 4, according to Keith McCullough of Hedgeye, which is not good for stocks or risk assets. And so most of these rallies have been getting sold. And, this is no different here. But again, are we potentially making a higher low here? It's a key level for Kusama at like around 150. But some of these are just, they're so small, if you think about it. If you think about like the entire addressable market of CBDCs, you're talking like $2 quadrillion or something. And, if potentially they make it compatible with some of these things, there's real potential, and why wouldn't they? And even if it's a scam, even if some of this stuff is a scam, maybe it's just the next scam for them to pump, for decades to come, just like the markets. I think that the markets are overdone, and there probably does need to be something else that comes in and is sort of the new thing that all this money goes into, because they're going to have to keep printing. So where's that money going to go? If it's not going to go into, they don't want it to go into food inflation or things like that. And I'm not saying we can't go lower here for sure. We definitely could. But most people will argue that we really are looking to make higher lows. So this is sort of that point, where we just caught support. It's really this sort of long-term, even trend from even when Kusama was like, $30, sort of following that line there. And again, could we go lower? Yeah, I guess. But, I think the sellers are pretty exhausted here. So just have just think about it and take a look at Bitcoin, just because obviously that's the big boy here. It's not something necessarily that I want to pick up because I don't know. I just think it's pretty big of a market cap, and technology behind it's not great. So not as big of a fan as Bitcoin as some other people. You know, potentially we are getting rejected here, which is again bad. If that is where we get rejected, there's definitely room to the downside, and that's why I said I'm averaging in, and I'd be happy to, average in again lower actually. And usually I wouldn't do that. Usually I would just kind of freak out and want to go all in at one time. But I've learned, I guess, over the past few months, really, that just to be patient, and there's the support there, higher lows. We probably wouldn't want to lose that, because then I'm not sure where we head from there, but it wouldn't be good. And who knows where some of these go, if that happens. I really think that ETH looks better. Bitcoin just not even really close to its trend line here. Bitcoin's basically was on it, which is interesting. ETH, not so much. I think the merge is coming sooner than people think. That's definitely going to help the entire space. So I just wanted to put out a counter video to some of the bearishness, and kind of realize, even myself, that at the end of the day, you're not going to catch the total low. And it's a good practice to average in slowly, instead of all in at once. So hopefully got something out of the video. If you did, please like,